So, dito na ako tayo sa Chantaburi. At maghapon ho tayong nagto-travel. Nagaling tayo ng Manila. Nasa airport na tayo as early as 4 a.m.
Yeah.
5 a.m. Ngayon ay 8 p.m. Bangkok time. So 9 na sa Manila.
Ikot ko. Yan, base.
Okay, andito na tayo sa kwarto natin dito sa Manishan Hotel. Dito yan sa Chantaburi. So, konting tour lang tayo saglit. Ganda ng kwarto natin. Dito sa Thailand, laging ganito yung mga kwarto. Meron silang mga paprutas.
Tikim mo
natin.
Tamis pa rin ba?
Super the best. Dito tayo matutulog. Good night! Available na po ang agribusiness merch sa Shopee. Ang link nasa description box.
Okay, I think we're ready for our second presentation. How do you introduce a very accomplished man? When the introduction, of course we request for a short introduction of the presenters. When it was given to me, when I read it, it looked like the history of the industry he belongs to. Very accomplished man. So, our next speaker is a proud son of Mindanao. Shout out to those from Mindanao. He earned his degree in agriculture from the University of Southern Mindanao. And later on, finished botany and his PhD in agronomy from University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He's been an educator for 43 years. And his resume has all the important agencies scattered all over. And that includes PICARD, CIRCA, and the USA. And SIDA. And he has received awards both from national and international giving bodies. Now that he's retired, he's now managing the Triple P farm with his family. It's based also in Davao. He's managing it with his children. 2 of them are present right now. Miss April and Dr. Ami. They wanted another sister to come. Na late lang tayo. But how did ILT come to know about him? I first heard his name from Sir Buddy. Kasi nonod ako eh. But we also heard his name again during the first Thai fruit orchard tour here in Chantaburi, when some of the farms, some of the experts in the farms we visited identified him as their consultant. Feeling namin, na-vindicate kami kasi sana all kami ng sana all. But one of their consultants is a Filipino. So everybody, I'm really proud to introduce to you Dr. Pablito Pamplona.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayong umaga sa inyong lahat. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. I'm glad to be here. I learned a lot from the Thai presentation this morning. I'm always a student of the Thai technology. And this has been going on for the last more than 40 years. I was at my later 30 years old when I first attended a conference in Thailand that is in the Highland. My roommate was the Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, and he said, when you go to Bangkok, you visit Chantaburi. I was thinking he was having a farm of 1 hectare, and so I took the bus the following morning at 4 o'clock. I arrived at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 stops only. So that was more than 10 hours. So do not be surprised if you have your 6 hours yesterday. I took it for 10 hours several years ago when there was only 2 lanes and almost all of this were rugged road. But I wanted to learn from their agriculture. I would say na tayo ngayon ng mga Pilipino ay 20 years beyond sa agriculture nila when it comes to fruit crops. You see how the government is supporting them. Ang tayo naman is minimal ang support ng government because the program is mainly on self-sufficiency in rice and corn, onions and so on. There's no good program for fruit crops. And I'm very glad that you are here because you can hear first-time information of how you can improve the betterment of many Filipino farmers by going into high-income fruit farming. When I left, after that meeting with the Undersecretary of Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, many were surprised because I resigned as team leader of corn and sorghum because I wanted to concentrate on fruits because nakikita ko dito sa Chantaburi at the time, many of them were having that pick up already with, with overloaded durian. And you imagine how they make their standard vehicle in here. You go to the corn farmer area, it's still the Kulikliks type of farming. And so I want our farmers to be rich. Now, my presentation is on fruit farming in the Philippines situation and trend. Okay, the leading fruit commodities that we have includes, of course, banana, mango, pineapple, and so on, as you can see here. But we have the fruits that are concentrated for export, that is banana, pineapple, mango, durian, avocado, and papaya. Most of the banana, cabindis, pineapple, and including the Hass avocado now are in the hands of the multinational, and very few small farmers are still going into this. These are high-income crops, and yet the government seems not to promote for it. Commercial dormant farming has been there in the country for 40 decades. Unfortunately, 4 decades ago, when there are big plantations, that was also the time when the price was too low. So many went into big plantations like Pohanco, like many other Chinese in Mindanao, planting by the hundreds of the hectares, but the price went down. And so they forget about this. In fact, many of these farms were again converted into palm oil. Now we are converting this, returning this again to durian. There is a new reasons why, of course, there is a renewed interest in durian. Many of the affluent Filipinos in the Luzon and Visayas would now like to eat durian. But there are those who are coming from overseas and would return to the Philippines, while overseas, they buy what? The frozen durian there, they could eat fresh durian. And so because of that, there is a the renewed interest in durian is mainly in Mindanao, but also in the Visayas and some in Luzon. This is to cater particularly for the China market. Last year, the people in Davao, 75% of durian in the Philippines are still produced by only one region, and that is Region 10. And most of these are concentrated in the Kalinan area. In the Kalinan, where the soil is so volcanic and the durian there is so productive. But to go out of that, many people don't fertilize durian. And so the production is very low. At the other side of Mount Apo, they are getting only about 10% of what is taken there. So fertilization is very important. When we exported last year, and we exported Puyat as a variety. By the way, Puyat is an improved variety from Thailand because it's actually Ichani. But for a crop, there are two things that will happen. What was in you transfer in the other place, it might produce the same way. It might also improve, or it might also lessen. In the case of Puyat, it is an advantage because this is Ichani, which has better production in the Philippines than in Thailand. Okay, so aside from that, there are two varieties being introduced again by the Malaysian in the Philippines, which they would like us to cultivate. They do not consider us, by the way, as shall we say, competitor, because they want to. Many of these are businessmen who want to improve this market. In fact, I have two lectures today, one in the Philippines and one here. The one in the Philippines is managed by the Malaysian government, by the Malaysian trying to promote the production of durian there. Because, durian in Malaysia is largely similar to what in Thailand. So it's from May, June, July, and August. In our case in here, we start with August, September, October. And so it does not compete. In fact, it complements because of that. And so they requested me to prepare the lecture, so it's my son is conducting the lecture there. With renewed interest in durian production, we have to update of the technologies which largely emerged from Thailand and Malaysia because their government will support the research in here. Our government there does not support so much the research in durian. So these are some of the technologies which evolved for the last 10 years, not only here in Thailand, but you will observe many of these here. Turulan preparation after planting, well, before kaingin na lang, pwede na taniman. It's really a turulan preparation, including the construction of mounds or radius where the durian trees are planted. Then, not only that they plant that immediately for 1 month, the planting points are enriched with organic matter. The most common practice is to provide with decaying 1/2 dunk of chicken dung and some organic fertilizer for that matter. And then more frequent fertilization. While the Filipino way of fertilizing before is you plant at the onset of the rainy season, at the end of the rainy season, now it's a monthly application in small amount. So while before, so much fertilizer, magulat ng tanim, and then later on he stir because for the next 6 months walang fertilizer. Ito ngayon, ang system ng fertilization, particularly mature stage, is just like lakatan banana. It's monthly during the first and second year, third year, it's now 4 application per month. Then, of course, adequate irrigation system is important. Innovative pruning to create plants of blue head and compact strong primary branches. Okay, effective control of weeds, pests, and diseases. Flower and fruit thinning to help ensure the production of quality fruits. Pollination, aided pollination of flowers. Cropping of fruits to ensure quality fruit not touching the ground, and harvesting at the right stage of maturity. Okay, this is an example of mounding of soil. It's elevated. The reason for this is to control moisture and to prevent the waterlogging at the base of the plant. Many of the durian trees, and including Hass avocado for that matter, when planted on the plain only, meaning you cultivate, you do not mount it, it will be attacked by Phytophthora. So in the case, that's the reason we have not popularized montong in the Philippines, because montong is so susceptible to Phytophthora. But now we found out that with mounting, we can produce also montong. Okay, very important is the planting materials. We are running short of planting materials now because of, not because of Filipinos, but because of foreigners, particularly the Chinese, the Singaporeans, and the Malaysian, entering the production of durian in the Philippines. Okay, shading is very important to reduce sunlight by 50%. Then you have the double tree mounting per mounted soil for that matter, so you have 2 trees instead of 1. Okay, of course, in our case and many other farmers, we used to plant lakatan. I learned this from the Bell base when he started his durian. In 1 year, he got a lot of income from lakatan already, and so as a result of that, we have been using this practice. So you have the durian there, but at the same time, in 12 months, you have a good harvest of lakatan. Lakatan is about 50 pesos per kilo na. If you have 20 kilos per bunch, how much would that be per bunch? And you plant about 2,000 plants per hectare. Okay, then 2 plants per planting result to higher yield for that matter. No? This is common. These are adapted here in some newly established farms, but also in Malaysia. Okay, optimum care of mature durian trees for high productivity. So pruning, low head pruning, meaning tinatap prune even up 3 years, so you create a plant which is low. So proteining, harvesting, pollination is facilitated rather than you have tall trees and you will have a lot of bamboo for that matter as propping. This time it's only short, about 15 feet for that matter. Okay, and then mounted, so you know that what they call this when this was introduced in Malaysia, they call it Chinese cemetery. Oh, nilbingan daw ng mga insect. Okay, but because of this, they are able to improve the watering system. Not too much water, not too short. And then as a result, you get a lot of flower and fruiting for that matter. The irrigation system, the low-cost irrigation system, you observe that here in Thailand, we are using the Thai technology for that matter. The Japanese and the Israel technology are too expensive. But one of the things that you'll understand about the Thai is yearly there are scores of Thai going to Israel to study the Thai fruit production. When they come back to Thailand, they introduce this and modify this to suit to their local needs. That's why they are expert on this. Okay, a lot of questions will do. You need not pollinate durian in order to produce fruits. But there is the so-called aided pollination. Kailangan matulungan para magkaroon ng massive fruit set for that matter. Dito nakikita nyo, ang ginagamit dito ay ang broom. So they would collect on the daytime the flowers of Radomtong, Noijip, and so on. These are early maturing varieties. And then pollinate this with Musang King and with Montong. As a result, they get massive fruit set, and out of this, they can again select the fruits, the well-formed fruits, which to develop. Is it 300 fruits per tree or 500 fruits? Then they have to select this. Okay, tying is very important, not to allow the fruits to reach the ground because the moment it's full on the ground, it's already partly damaged for that matter. So propping is very important. Okay, let's go to a little. Now I'm too fast. Cost and return analysis of durian. We assume that the biggest expenses in durian production is the construction of the mound by the use of backhoe, which in our case, we have 3 backhoes for our farm and sometimes for rental. It costs about 200,000 pesos per hectare. Of course, land preparation pa lang yan. And then LPA Musang King should be planted, and this is another major expenses. Irrigation facilities should be provided, but if you get your irrigation facilities from Thailand, many of the sprinkler can be purchased now at low cost at Shopee, no? And so some of you can use that. Okay, this constitute the major expenses in durian production. Okay, the cost in establishing a hectare of Musang King is almost 500,481 pesos. Per steer pa lang yan. Then you have the yearly flow of expenses, which would amount to about 11,000 to about 78,000 pesos per annum. Okay. Now we assume the production in here to be 50% of those currently being observed. And Musang King fruits for farm gate price at 300 pesos and 500 pesos. Mention has been made about Puyat for about 90 or 110 in Davao City now. But the time we harvested our Musang King, we are running short of supplies. Nakikuha kami ng maraming galit sa mga gobernador, sa mga congressman kasi bakit hindi daw sila mapadalhan. Pabili mo lang ng 500 yan. There are many affluent group and the Chinese are among these. The market now of Musang King is more than 1,000 pesos per hectare. So we are assumed here at 300 to 500. Okay, now let's go into the table. This is the major cost of establishing seedlings is very costly. Of course, hindi free ito sa atin. But some of the government are trying right now. The sponsor of the seminar in Cotabato is the governor of South Cotabato because they wanted to put up their own nursery. So the total cost for materials is 121,000. Okay, cost of labor for mounding 200,000, and then another major expenses is letter C below your irrigation, which is minimum na itong 150,000. So establish ka ngayon ng durian, Musang King is already for 81,000. Okay, here is the flow of the expenses. It ranges from below first year. A total of, including the cost of materials, is for 91,000. The cost of yearly expenses from 14,000 to about 88,000 pesos during the 10th year. Of course, you are expecting to harvest by the 5th year. That is if large size planting materials is used. And so even at 300 pesos, your total cost of investment of 500,000 during the first year is already covered up because the first year of income is already 600,000. And of course, with 500 pesos per hectare, it's almost 1 million. Okay, the income from the yearly expenses includes 1 million, 3 million, 4 million, and 4.8 million during the 9th and the 10th year. It is more than that. Kung tingnan natin, sabi natin, nakakagulat yung income, nakakatakot. Imagine earning an income of 1 million during the 5th year, 3 million during the 6 years. But if you present this to Malaysians, the Malaysian now, they will be laughing, why that income? Because they are getting an income 3 or 4 times this with their Musang King, and many of them are going to the Philippines now to plant musang king. Just then there will be a continuous market on their part, market for Singapore, market for Hong Kong, and market for China, for musang king. Okay, that's the cash flow over 10 years. Okay. Besides durian crop that we recently is gaining popular. By the way, if you want many of their crops in here, we have documented this for several years. We can send you books at cost on handbook on longkong and also on mangosteen. On mangosteen. But one of the things which interest us recently is jackfruit. Besides durian crop that is gaining high interest in farming in the Philippines now is jackfruit. There are three reasons for this. One is we have two good varieties, and jackfruit is a crop that is easier to plant than durian. Whether it's in low elevation and even up to for durian, you cannot have a good plantation at about 700 to 800 meters above sea level. With jackfruit up to 1,200 meters above sea level, okay pa rin siya. That's why you're planting in Australia, in New Zealand, and we have that variety in the Philippines. Okay, it can be intercrop with tall coconut. You know, one of the crops that is with low income in the Philippines na pinapabayaan na lang natin is coconut. One way to increase that income is jackfruit. Sabi nila kakao, mas maganda yung kakao. Okay yung kakao if you have your time to take care of your plants every day. But if you are a weekend farmer, I would recommend jackfruit. So one of the reasons is the wide range of adaptability. The second is the recent discovery that jackfruit is a superfood, where a small amount eaten regularly is a powerful cancer killer, promotes health, digestion, immunity booster, regulate blood pressure, promotes healthy heart, and good for the maintenance of healthy eyes and skin. That's why the reason at the age of 82, bumalik yung pagtingin ko ng mga early 30s. Okay, maski hindi ako mag-eyeglass, pwede pa rin ako magbasa. Okay, jackfruit is loaded with phytonutrients, vitamins, antioxidants, which are good for the maintenance of a healthy human body. It provides added value. In the Philippines, one company which is exporting turon to the Middle East to serve the Filipinos is needing about 90 tons per month. Ang karamihan ito ay galing pa dito sa Thailand. We are a great importer of jackfruit from Thailand and Vietnam. Which we can raise it easily in the Philippines. One of the easier than cacao, easier than durian, and most other fruit crops. Jackfruit provides added value in combined with other traditional food preparation like fruit cocktail, halo-halo, turon, and mixed with rice. All what the Thai are doing are keep the fruit in the frozen side of refrigerator, and then this will be good for 6 months. So little every day they would get in the morning there, combine this with rice, and so we have the jackfruit rice for that matter, which we can do also which I'm doing also in the house. Okay, but another third important factor is we have two available varieties in the Philippines which are really good for the country. We have a lot of trial on the G33, we call that the Malaysian latex less sweet now in the Philippines. The fruits produced are yellow-orange, highly aromatic, and super sweet with breaks of 35 to 37 as compared to other jackfruit like Ibiar. Sabi nila, the sweetest jackfruit is Ibiar. That is before the discovery of the breaks of G33, which is about 35 to 37, because ABRC has only a breaks of 25 to 27. Many of the jackfruit that we have in the Philippines, like the Magnolia, has only about a breaks of 15, and this is not acceptable in the world market. Okay. MLS, known as Sultan, Emperor, and Honey, was discovered in Malaysia. The center of origin, by the way, is India. But India now is raising a lot of G33. So it is successfully grown in India, Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Indonesia, and Philippines. Indonesia has a lot of jackfruit, just like durian, but unfortunately they cannot export because their population is about twice our population. We brought in from Malaysia this in 1997, and it is only for the last 3 years which we popularized this variety. Okay. By the way, one of the things we are doing in Thailand, there was a time when USAID helping us to secure materials in here. And so most of their varieties, the Chani, the Montong, the Kadamtong, the Kanyao, if you are interested, and they recently developed the hybrid, we have this, we can provide you planting materials at cost. So with itong G33. Although APR sweet, the plantation or the planting is limited in the Philippines, but it has the characteristic of being a world-class outstanding variety because it's very sweet, and not only that, it has many other good qualities.
Available na po ang Agribusiness merch sa Shopee. Ang link nasa description box. Agribusiness, how it works. Instruct, inspire, succeed.